Hey students, this is your hints video for lesson 7.1, adjacent and vertical angles. So I just have a few problems picked out here. Number 6, you can see that we actually have 3 lines that are intersecting. So that gives us all kinds of different angles here. So we're going to take a look at some of the choices we have. So we have LMN, that's this angle right here, and NMP. Okay, so we can see that these two angles are right next to each other. So those are adjacent. If they're adjacent, they can't be vertical. It's one or the other. So those are adjacent. I'm going to go ahead and erase that so we can take a look at our next pair. SMR, so that's this angle right here, and NMP. Okay, so we can see that this really is, these two angles are the result of this pair of intersecting angles, so therefore they are vertical angles. It has to be created as a result of two intersecting lines. Okay, let's take a look at our next pair. Okay, LMS, that's this little one right here, and PMQ. Okay, this is also a pair of vertical angles. We can see that these angles are created by these two intersecting lines. So those are vertical angles. All right, our next pair is SMR. It's this angle here that looks like maybe it's a right angle, and LMN. Okay, so this angle and this angle. So they're not adjacent, they're not touching each other, and they are not the result of two intersecting lines. We need all 3 lines to make that happen. They're not across from each other. They might be congruent, but they're not necessarily congruent. They are neither vertical nor adjacent. Okay, and then let's look at our last pair of angles, NMP. So that's this angle right here, and PMQ, that's this angle right here. So these two angles, we can see they share a common side, so therefore they are adjacent. All right, then we have a few problems where first we're determining whether the two angles we're talking about are adjacent or vertical. So here we're talking about this angle and this angle. They're across from each other. Those are vertical angles. And to find the value of x, we know that vertical angles are congruent. So we are going to write an equation, 75 equals 4x minus 25. And we just have a 2-step equation. We'll add 25 to each side. We get 100 equals 4x. We'll divide by 4 and get x equals 25. And then number 12, these two angles are not vertical, they are adjacent. They're right next door to each other. And adjacent angles aren't necessarily complementary, but these two angles are complementary. We can see that together they create a 90-degree angle. So we know that 4x plus 2x is equal to 90. We can simplify 6x equals 90. We'll divide both sides by 6, and we get x equals 15. All right, and our last problem that I have for you is we're just determining whether statements are always, sometimes, or never true. So when we look at angle 2 and angle 3, we can see that those are adjacent angles. And they also create a straight angle, so 2 and 3 together are 180 degrees. And it doesn't look like from the picture they're congruent, but what we're really asking is no matter what the picture looks like, when you have two intersecting lines, are a pair of adjacent angles going to be congruent? And the answer here is sometimes. Because if angle 2 were to be 90 degrees, it doesn't look like it from this picture, but if it was 90 degrees, then angle 3 would also be 90 degrees because we know that the two angles add up to 180 degrees.